All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody good tonight? Thursday, January 22nd. And I'm Chris Allen, and this is 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond, along with News 40, because local matters. Well, we're getting into it. The time has come to shore up any other last minute preparations, if you will. The way I put it is, if you haven't done it by now, then it's probably not going to happen, right? You know what the weather is. Now, this is the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. Oh, I miss Paul Harvey. Those of you who don't know who Paul Harvey is, well, you missed out on one of the greatest broadcasters ever. Okay, let's get started. There's a lot to talk about, and I want you guys to chime in. Let me know where you're from, and if you have any questions as far as specifics on, maybe something I didn't cover. Now, the one thing I will not do, because of time and because of so many people, we had another record-breaking podcast last night. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. There's just no way I can answer questions like, what time will it be at my house? When is it going to come to my town? Is my town going to get hit? The answer is yes, it is. This is why I'm showing this right here. This is a map of all the current winter weather watches, advisories, warnings. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's incredible. That spans about 2,500 miles from New England through the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, down into Texas, up into the North Central Plains and the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and then even all the way back to Arizona. Isn't that crazy? 2,500 miles. And now we've got, I think the last count was 170 million people are being affected by this big winter storm. This is one big storm. This is not little pieces. This is one big storm. And it is just massive. And it's just now getting going. In fact, we can, I'll zoom in here and let you see how it's, all right, this is where we are, okay? So I'm going to go over the advisories, the watches, warnings, and all that. But let me go back here to, let's find some radars. Let's go to Plainview, Texas, okay? Are we finding anything there? No. Okay, let's go a little further east. Let's go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, hang on a second. Let me get the right radars up here, because I want you to see that we're already getting a lot of activity, and this thing is just now getting started. Let me go to the composite radar. That's where we're going to start to see some things. Okay. Things will start lighting up now. Yeah, I said that and there's nothing showing. Okay, why is it not showing? I've got a composite radar on. It's loading up. Okay. Interesting. Well, there's got to be a reason why, and I'm not sure why. I turned the warnings off. Okay. Oh, it looks like this is from last night. Let me do a little update here. Well, I'm telling you, I'm feeling a little embarrassed here. For some reason, it is not showing all of the activity that's starting to get going out here west of us. I'm not sure why. No data. That's crazy. Reflectivity, loading, current time, nothing there. Wow. Good gracious. I'm not sure why that's happening. There must be some type of a data outage. But anyway, let's go back. I want to show you the all the warnings. Again, this is pretty significant. So, the warnings are incredibly large. So the warnings that are for our area, they were watches this morning. Now they're warnings. All right. So right over the Bowling Green area, all of this is a winter storm warning that is going to continue all the way through from actually starting midnight Saturday to 6 a.m. Monday. So, yeah, it's going to take in all weekend long. Describing what's going to happen here, the warning means heavy snow mixed with sleet, freezing rain, and south of the Bluegrass and western Kentucky parkways. So, this is where the best setup for heavy snow is going to be. And yes, there will be a freezing rain element. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. South of the parkways, let's say south of E-Town, south of Beaver Dam, so forth and so on. Storm total snow and sleet 4 to 10 inches. That's still a lot of snow, with up to a half inch of ice accumulation. That's us. North of the parkways, mainly snow, heavy at times, total snow accumulations between 10 and 14 inches. Localized higher amounts of snow and ice are possible. What we have seen this afternoon is that the warmer air coming in, and I'll show you on the map, warmer air coming in on the east side of the track of the low pressure system is bringing up a little more warmth than what we were looking at last night or even this morning. And that means parts of Kentucky, even here, besides getting snow, will get some freezing rain and sleet. But let me just say right off the bat, it is not going to be an ice storm. Not here, at least that we don't see yet. But all you got to do is go south of the Tennessee border, south of the Kentucky border into Tennessee, and that's where the ice storm is going to be. Nashville, southwest, down I-40. Not good. All right. Travel is going to be the biggest impact, and there could be some power outages. Travel could be very difficult to, and this is the National Weather Service word, impossible. It may become impossible to travel anywhere around here this weekend. That's some pretty strong wording. All right. So this is the winter storm warning here. It goes out to the eastern part of the state. Now, western Kentucky also, not only do you have the winter storm warning, but you also have a cold weather advisory. And that's for the deep, deep cold that we talked about last night. And I talked about this morning on News 40. That's going to come in from that very large, very deep and strong high pressure. And once that cold air gets here, it's going to stay not only all weekend, but as I'm going to show you, it is going to stay into next week. We may not get above freezing until Wednesday or Thursday of next week, a week from today, basically. Yeah, so let me draw for you, and I've got another map I'll show you, but let me draw for you here what we're looking at. So Here is the Bluegrass Parkway that goes from Lexington and then goes over to Bardstown and then ends up in E-Town. Okay, E-Town right there. And then you have the Western Kentucky Parkway that goes from Hardin County through Grayson County, Ohio County, and then it just keeps going Hopkins County, blah, 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 and then over hits I-24 and I-69 in Paducah. So north of this line, right here, north as you head toward the Ohio River, north as you head into southern Indiana, north as you head toward Lexington and Louisville and say Danville and Cincinnati, all those areas. So north of that yellow line, Bluegrass and Western Kentucky Parkways, that is where you could get the 10 to, let me draw that again, stop it, 10 to 14 inches of snow. Well, I tried to draw the 4, sorry, free-handed. 10 to 14 inches of snow, but there will also be a little bit of ice mixing into that because it's going to get drawn in. I'll show you that in a moment. But now here, as you head toward, here's 65. So here's Nashville, Franklin, Bowling Green, and then you go up Interstate 65 toward E-Town. Whoops, too much of a curve. There's E-Town right there. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. And then, of course, it goes on up to Louisville. I knew it would do that because I've got all this. Let me clear this off and try to do that a little bit better because I want you to see who's going to get what. And because of the way this is set up, it is going to be, all of this is going to be an issue. I mean, the impact, I'm not kidding, the impact from this storm is going to be quite incredible for us. It's been quite a while since we've seen anything like this. So here's 65 going through Nashville, Franklin, Bowling Green, on up Louisville. Okay, got the idea. Here's Lexington, Bluegrass Parkway, going through Bardstown and blah, 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 meeting up in E-Town. And then in E-Town, we pick up the Western Kentucky Parkway. I know this is not exact, but then it heads over to Paducah. Here is I-24 coming out of Nashville, Clarksville, and then over toward Paducah. Okay, so now we've got our interstates. I will change color. That's probably a good idea. Change color. So let's go to red. And now I'm going to show you that anywhere north of the Western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways have the potential to get up to or around 10 to 14 inches of rain, snow, but it's all dependent on if it's all snow. If there's any kind of freezing rain or sleet mixing in, that would bring those snow totals down, but I think most of you are going to get the bigger snow. Okay? So now let's go to, get my yellow out here again, and now let's go up to Barron County, where the Cumberland Parkway meets 65 and then goes out towards Somerset. That is where we're going to have an issue with ice or some ice coming in. Now, it's not all going to be ice, but we're looking at a little bit more than what we were looking at last night when I updated you. So there is going to be enough warm air coming in from the south around the low pressure system that is going to throw warmer air into the area. And when that happens, you get warm air running over the top of the very cold air that's at the surface. So this is why we're saying we're all going to need to understand that this is not going to be a total snow event like we had hoped it was going to be at the very beginning. It's just not going to happen that way. All right. So we're still going to get probably 6 to 8 inches of snow in the Bowling Green area, but then some of that is going to be contaminated, so to speak, with freezing rain and sleet. All right. So that's a big deal, because when that happens, then we're going to be dealing with periods of snow, yes, but then there's going to be periods of, you're going to hear sleet pellets coming down, hitting the ground, or you're going to go look outside and you're going to think, well, it looks like it's just raining. But no, that would be rain hitting the ground. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. That is going to be where we could get some ice getting on the power lines and the trees and the roadways, causing some big issues. So that's what we've got to watch as this continues. Okay. Now let's go to, hopefully the rest of this is going to work the way I want it to. I'm so sorry. I thought I had this all where it was supposed to be working, but it's acting like it's got some old data for some reason. All right, here we go. Now, let me turn off this. For some reason, this radar over here is driving me nuts. Tulsa radar. Well, it finally showed up, didn't it? Huh. That's weird. After I didn't want it to. Okay, now we got rid of it. Turn that off. Okay, this is the overall winter weather impact from the Weather Prediction Center, WPC. This is for late tomorrow, actually later tomorrow night into early Saturday. Notice that the area is painted in this yellow. Yellow means minor winter weather impact. So this would be what starts day 2, which is not really tomorrow, but it's more like tomorrow night into early Saturday. That's when we're going to start to get the snow or the precipitation moving in. You see all this more orange color back here to the west. That is the moderate winter weather impact. But let's go to day 3 when we're in the full throes of Saturday, and look what happens. Who's going to be impacted with this storm? Everybody. And look at this. Look how many places are in the red. That's incredible. Now, there are some places like Tupelo, Mississippi, to about Florence, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, through Greenwood, Mississippi, down to Monroe, Louisiana. That purple on the scale shows extreme impact. I've never seen that before. That's where the ice storm is going to be most prevalent, or, well, actually just getting started on Saturday. Now, we can't see day 4. That would take us into Sunday, and we would probably see a similar map like this one. But I mean, this is where the ice storm is going to be the worst. Northern Louisiana parishes through north central Mississippi and then northeastern Mississippi to that little corner along the Tennessee River, northwestern Alabama, right there, Florence, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. One of my favorite places in the world. You're going to get a lot of ice if you're watching from down there. And we're going to get some here. And see, this little area right here, this little notch, is exactly why, because that's the warm air that is going to be drawn into the system. And on the east side of Interstate 65, that is the best likely area to get icing. And enough of that will come into southeastern Kentucky, south of the Cumberland Parkway, as we head into Saturday. This is going to start early Saturday morning, and it's going to continue all day Saturday, Saturday night, and then through a good chunk of Sunday. Some of you, especially east of 65, your precipitation probably won't end until sometime Monday morning. And then the cold. Everybody is going to get the cold. It's just, it's coming, all right? It's going to be bad. Bunny Lee, using AI now? Nope. That's funny. I just saw your comment. I'm like, wait a minute. Using AI? I don't use AI. What makes you think I'm using AI? That's a weird question to ask right now. But anyway, okay, let me show you the latest information coming from the National Weather Service in Louisville. And I was in with other meteorologists and weather people and emergency managers from all 120 counties across the Commonwealth this afternoon. We were all in a conference call with the Weather Service. So this is what they showed us. Winter storm warning in effect starting Saturday morning through Monday morning. Major impacts expected. This is their wording, not mine, but I agree with it. Large snow and ice totals will bring major impacts to roadways, utilities. Power is going to go off somewhere, and daily life. Power outages and impassable roadways are to be expected. Large snow and ice totals. Snow totals may range between 3 to 15 inches. And I know that sounds like a big spread, but they put it that way because it depends on where in the state of Kentucky. Some places will get 3, then other places will get up to a foot or maybe up to 15 inches plus. And I'll show you where in a moment. These totals are subject to change. Freezing rain over southern Kentucky, that's going to bring down the snow totals. That's that blue area that you see right there from Russell Springs, again, south of the Cumberland Parkway, over toward London, and then Harlan, Kentucky, and Pikeville. The snow totals are going to be less in southeastern Kentucky, more as you head further north and west. You see that little stripe of yellow? Well, that's going to be more like 4 to 6. Then you get in the Bowling Green area and northward, we're talking about 6 to 8. Then you start to see the 10 to 14 that I was telling you about. And then this is where you're going to start to see higher than 14, higher than a foot, foot and a half. And then this bottom map showing where there's more likely to get a glaze of ice. There's a lot of storm uncertainty, dangerously cold temperatures, and here you see the timeline. Saturday morning, snow begins. Then we go all Saturday afternoon with snow. Saturday night with snow and some of the heaviest snow. Then Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, some of this is going to be where we get the mix of freezing rain and sleet. And again, a lot of this depends on where you are. Okay, that's why we have all these winter storm warnings. The winter storm warning goes into effect for the entire state of Kentucky. Starting Saturday morning, that's when all of the precipitation is going to begin, and it's going to continue Saturday, Sunday, and it's not going to stop until Monday morning, all weekend long. Widespread heavy snowfall and ice. Expect major impacts, including power outages, impassable roads. Are you listening? Impacts to other utilities, such as it may get cold enough to where some of you may have some frozen pipes. If you get a good snowpack and you get some ice on it and then more snow on top of it, you most likely could get some frozen pipes. I've seen it happen before. I hope that by now your outdoor water hydrant, your faucets have been wrapped up and your hoses have been unhooked. Because if it's left like that, you're going to have a frozen pipe. Down trees. Power lines. Because of down trees. If we get enough weight of not just ice, but snow, it can bring down tree branches and power lines. Confidence that this winter storm is going to hit is at the high end of the high category. The highest confidence in the world is with this system. Snowfall forecast probability. Now, let me explain. This map looks very colorful, but let me explain what it is. This is looking at the probability, as it says above the map, the probability of exceeding 8 inches of snow. All right? 8 inches of snow. So, you see here is the Bowling Green area right here. All right? We are kind of in the 50 to 60% probability of getting more than 8 inches of snow. I think we could get up to 8. It all depends on how much freezing rain and sleet we get. But you go further north, here's Campbellsville, here's Madisonville, you're in the 70% category of exceeding 8 inches of snow. But here is where the most snow is likely to occur, 8 inches or more. And that's going to be Louisville. That's going to be over to Lexington. That's going to be Frankfort and Danville and E-Town. Then over to Owensboro and Evansville. Confidence in those snowfall amounts is in the high medium category. That's for exceeding 8 inches of snow. Now, this is for the probability of exceeding 15 inches of snow. A foot to maybe, let's just say, 1.5 feet. Look at that. Now, Bowling Green, we're down here where we're going to get a little more in the way of freezing rain and sleet. So the possibility of us getting 15 inches of snow is just almost nil unless something changes in the track of the storm and it starts to come a little further south as far as the heavy snow. But where you have a chance of a really half and half chance, flip of the coin chance of getting 1.5 feet of snow or more, 50% chance, Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, even Shepherdsville, We'll say even from Shepherdsville, in between Shepherdsville and E-Town, and then over to Evansville and southern Indiana. That is where you're more likely to get up to 15 inches of snow or more. But again, that's based on the current track. Now, here is the dreaded ice forecast probability. Yeah. This is us in southern Kentucky. If you live southern Kentucky, middle Tennessee, this is the part you don't want to hear. And as you see here, probability of exceeding a 1/4 inch of ice. Now, if we got a 1/4 inch of ice, it would still be enough ice on the trees and the power lines. That's freezing rain. From freezing rain, rain falls as rain, but then it freezes on surfaces. And if it adds up to a 1/4 inch or more, we're going to have problems. Maybe not like what you would classify as an ice storm, but we're going to have problems. We're going to have slick roads, and we're going to have power outages. So 40% chance of that, Clarksville, Tennessee, over to Gallatin, Lafayette, almost up to Bowling Green. 40% chance that we could have freezing rain of a 1/4 inch or even a 1/3 of an inch. That could do a little something. Now, confidence in those ice amounts are in the high medium category. Then it reduces, as you see here, 30%, 20% as you get up toward Campbellsville, Middlesboro, Madisonville. And that's because this is where a lot of the snow, this is where it starts to get snowier. So all of this, as I mentioned from the beginning, as far as ice, freezing rain, and sleet, is south of the Cumberland Parkway. But this is not a guarantee. This is just the way we see it right now. If anything shifts, then we could either be in a much better place or in a much worse place. Tomorrow will tell us. Forecasted snowfall amounts. This is the maps that I showed you at the very beginning, but up close. Louisville, Frankfort, Danville, Lexington. That's where you could get 1 foot to 1.5 feet of snow right there in that circle. The rest of Kentucky, pretty much the rest of it, from E-Town down to Campbellsville, down 65 and 165, Owensboro, Hartford, north of the Cumberland Parkway, anywhere from 8 to 1 foot, 8 inches to 1 foot. But as soon as you get to Bowling Green and Warren County and the Cumberland Parkway and south, even to Hopkinsville, over to Russell Springs, London, Kentucky, Jackson, Kentucky, maybe 6 to 8 inches of snow, even with the bit of freezing rain and sleet that we're looking at. South of there, that blue shaded area, we're talking 3 to 4 inches of snow, because most of what you're going to get is going to be freezing rain and sleet with that little bit, 3 to 4 inches of snow. That's by Monday morning, all storm total, starting Saturday, all day Sunday, ending Monday morning. Forecasted snow to liquid ratios. Last night, if you were watching, I was talking about the snow ratios being higher than 10 to 1. It could be like 15 to 1, 18 to 1, 20 to 1. If that happens, boy, we are going to get even more snow than what we were first looking at. Snow ratios on Saturday will start as a dry and fluffy snow because of the cold air, the really deep cold air. But as the warmer layer starts to come in, which we just talked about, with the changeover at times to freezing rain and sleet, that's when it goes to a wet, heavy snow. And that's where we could run into problems with not only ice, but also a heavy, wet snow that would also weigh on trees and power lines, and that could cause additional problems. It looks pretty. I mean, I love when the snow just kind of sticks to the trees and it just is beautiful. But it could be a big, big problem. And that's what we don't want. Now, here are the forecasted ice amounts. As you see here, Friday night through Monday morning, this is the red zone. Southeast of Bowling Green from, say, Scottsville, we'll say Franklin, and along 65 to Bowling Green from Nashville, Scottsville, Glasgow, Tompkinsville, Edmonton, Russell Springs, Burkesville, Adair County, Columbia, Jamestown, Russell Springs, Albany, as I like to say, Albany, then over to Monticello, then to Somerset, to London, I-75, and then way over to Harlan, Kentucky, and Pikeville. These are the areas that could get a quarter inch up to a half inch of ice. More likely there, say Middlesboro, and on the Tennessee border. A half inch of ice and plus, that's ice storm category. Okay? So we're going to get a touch of that, but we're also going to get some snow. But let's hope that the ice numbers here go down, because that would be bad. That would be bad. Lots of trees, lots of power lines affected. Now, the further north you go of Bowling Green and the Cumberland Parkway, there is some uncertainty within that area with the white little dots around it, little lines. A trace maybe to a quarter inch of ice is possible, even up to E-Town or Danville or Richmond or Lexington. Even though they're going to get more snow, there could be a glaze, as it says right there. So really, no part of Kentucky is going to be free completely from getting some ice. It's possible. That's the scary part. Okay, here's the timing, and I know a lot of you have been asking about the timing. When is all this going to take place? Well, this is Saturday. This is when the precipitation begins to move in from our southwest. This is Eastern time. Everything here is Eastern time. So we're looking at 4 to 7 a.m. for Paducah, Hopkinsville, and really Bowling Green. 4 to 7 a.m. in the morning, Saturday. Then from 6 to about noon or so, it's all going to move. It's going to move in from the west and go north. Owensboro, Hartford, E-Town, Campbellsville, Russell Springs, London, and so forth. Then from about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, everything's going to move into Jasper, Indiana, Louisville, Danville, Frankfort, Lexington, Richmond, Moorhead, Ashland, Maysville, Madison, Indiana, Salem, Indiana. And then after, say, 4 p.m. Saturday evening, Cincinnati, Covington. That's the start. This is the times that everything is going to move in from the southwest and move northeast. Now, everything is going to continue all the way through the weekend, and most of this is going to end Sunday afternoon and evening, but some, as you see in eastern Kentucky, Your precipitation is not going to come to an end until after midnight, so that would be early Monday morning. But the entire state by then is going to be covered in snow and, unfortunately, some ice. So here's the end timing on Sunday, again in Eastern Time, 3 to 7 p.m. Western Kentucky, and then 6 to 8 p.m. Hopkinsville, Hartford, Owensboro to Bowling Green, 7 p.m. to midnight along and east of 65 over to I-75, and then it's that after midnight far eastern Kentucky. That's when it all comes to an end. And then here comes the bitter, 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 bitter cold. Maybe not really record-breaking cold, but it's going to be dangerous. This is their wording, dangerously cold, because we'll have not only very cold temperatures, but we're also on the right-hand column, the wind chills. Look at those wind chills as we get into Monday, -2, -8, -10, -10, -12. Look at this. Tuesday, wind chill factors of, in Bowling Green, 8 below zero. Brandenburg, 11 below zero. Look at all these 13 below zeros, 12 below zero, 15 below zero in Lexington, 14 below zero wind chills in Louisville, so forth and so on. The temperatures today, by the way, is the last day that will be above freezing until maybe Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Look at this. The minimum temperature, these are not the highs, but these are the lows. Bowling Green, Friday night, tomorrow night, low of 15. Saturday night, a low of 15. Sunday night, a low of 16. Monday night, a low of 1, with a wind chill of -2. Now check this out. Bowling Green on Tuesday night, we're going to have a low, I live here, a low of 3 below zero with a wind chill Tuesday night of 8 below zero. Lord, I have mercy. Then we start to warm up, if you can call it that. Wednesday, we get up to 14, but then look at Thursday. Well, these are nighttime lows again. Low of 14, then a low of 9. But the high temperatures are only going to be in the teens and 20s that whole time. And like I said, it won't be until maybe Wednesday or Thursday next week will we get above freezing. These are the low temperatures, but we will get above freezing. But it's going to be late next week. So whatever falls on the ground in whatever form is going to stay, and it's going to be as hard as concrete. Yeah. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to melt for about a week. There are school systems already that I've learned this evening that are going to be out they've already taken all next week off. NTI days. Yeah. So what can you do? Prepare your home, get ready to lose power. I am imploring every one of you to just go ahead and plan on you're probably going to lose power. So you need to make plans on what if you did lose power and what if it's for several days? What are you going to do? Do you have a generator? Do you have another place you can go for heat? Do you have food? I mean, these are things, seriously, you got to think about it like right now. And you got to get it done before the end of the day tomorrow. Everybody. Make sure your vehicle is ready. Fill your tank with gas completely. And park your vehicle in a spot where you're going to be able to get out if you need to get out. Now, some of you, I know you live on a hill or in a valley, and you're going to be stuck no matter what you do. But if you can, fill your tank up with gas and get it parked in a place where you can get out if you need to get out. Monitor the forecast. This shows a TV, a very old TV, because TVs don't look like that anymore. We don't have TVs anymore. We have screens. So stay up to date. You can watch News 40. You can watch me here. Even during all this mess going on, we at News 40 plan to stay on the air. Plus, myself, Scott, and Micah, we will be doing regular updates on Facebook, social media, all of that. Plus, hopefully you've downloaded the News 40 app, the weather app by now, and it's going to have everything there. No matter where you go, no matter what time of the day, all of it will be there. And then just have a plan on what you're going to do. You know, even make a little list, a little checklist to make sure that you've taken, what if you've got to go somewhere else to stay? Are you going to make sure you're going to take your prescriptions with you? That's something to think about. If you're old, like me, and you take a whole drugstore full of medicine and you got to go stay at a hotel or somebody's house, you know, neighbors, relatives, friends, whatever, take your medicines with you. Because once you get to that place, you're not going to be able to probably go back to your house. You won't be able to do that. You're going to be stuck. Nobody wants to be stuck. All right? Winter storm watch, we're past that now. Now we're up to winter storm warning. Winter weather advisory, we're past that too. So, the winter storm warning means significant winter weather is imminent and is a danger to life and property. We're in the danger zone. Just like Tom Cruise, we're flying into the danger zone. We're there. Blizzard warning, I know I've heard some folks throw that word around, but I doubt we're going to have blizzards or a blizzard. Now, a blizzard here in Kentucky, winds have to be sustained 35 miles per hour, blowing the snow around. We are not going to have that. It may get a little breezy, but we are not going to have a blizzard. So I'll dispel that rumor right now, right here. Ice storm warning, yes, there are some of those south of us, especially once you get on into Tennessee. It's going to be a major, major problem, along with the numerous power outages. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the power outages, I talked to Barry Connolly, who runs R&R Controls. He is like, look, we're ready. Our clients are ready. But for those of you that are like, hey, can I call R&R Controls tomorrow on Friday before the storm hits on Saturday and get a generator? Sorry. No. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, I've been saying you need to get a generator. Now it's too late. For this storm, it's too late. And he hates that. Barry, who runs R&R Controls, wishes that he could just send his team out, rush out there tomorrow, and get you hooked up with a Generac generator. But he can't. He can't. And even if he tried, he still wouldn't get it all done for everybody. So it's too late for that now. But that right there says it all. The power's out. Now what do? If you got a Generac generator, you don't have to do anything. Your standby Generac generator automatically powers on because it's hooked into your house or your business, and you just keep on rolling. Now, when these power outages, I don't know how many are going to go without power, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be in the thousands, ladies and gentlemen. Not just here, but in a lot of places. And so if you've got a Generac generator hooked up to your home or hooked up to your business, within seconds of the power going off, that comes on. And everything in your home, everything in your business just keeps rolling. Never miss a beat. You need to call next week. Or you could call tomorrow maybe and set up an appointment. But getting a generator for tomorrow before Saturday, that's not going to happen. In fact, I'm hearing that some of the, Home Depots, Lowe's, and all the other big home stores, Menards in the region, have been selling out of the portable generators. You're going to be hard pressed tomorrow if you're going to say, oh, okay, I've got tomorrow to go find one. Good luck. They are slim to none, kind of like the bread and the milk and everything else. It's slim to none. But tomorrow, R&R will be in their business, and you can call them and set up an appointment for after this storm to come out to your home or business and say, hey, I just want to talk to you about getting a generator and hooking it up to my house or business. And they will do that. They'll schedule something here in another week or two. And by the way, there is another snowstorm coming the 30th and 31st. That would be next Friday and Saturday, next weekend. Shh. I didn't want that to get out. Well, yeah, kind of I did. That's why I said it. rnrhvac.com or call the number 270-777-2024. Call them tomorrow and set up something. Please. 270-777-2024. It's too late to get one for this weekend, but it's never too late to give them a call and set something up because we are going to get more snow next weekend. We'll talk about that later. Thank you, R&R Controls, for just letting us know that we need to get this stuff done. I mean, look at all that. Purple everywhere. You would think Prince is still alive. There's purple everywhere. That's all the watches and the warnings and everything else. Let's see here. All right, your comments. Rosa's watching from Horse Branch, and she says, I've been telling people they better listen to Chris Allen. Well, thank you, Rosa. I appreciate that. I don't know everything, and I don't always get it right, but my passion, my real desire for every one of you is that you make it through these kind of storms, whether it's snow, ice, or tornadoes or floods, that you make it through okay, all in one piece. But I'll have to say this. My particular audience that watches this podcast knows knows to prepare. There are some people that do not watch this, and I'm not saying I'm the only one that talks about preparation, but I demand it. Really, I demand it from my viewers and my listeners. If you're going to listen and watch this podcast, you have better done everything in your power to prepare and not wait. Not wait until it's too late to do something. And then here's the thing. We get the people, the waiters, I call them, people that will wait until the last minute and then they panic and then they don't know what to do. And that's where you get into trouble. Panic never helps you out of a situation. Never. Never. Panic is a bad thing. And waiting until the last minute to prepare for any kind of storm, any kind of impending disaster, something dangerous like this, is frankly foolish. It is. But you guys in my audience, you know what to do. All right. Here is A. Marie Sullivan. Thanks for the updates. Not good for these old bones. I know. I feel it too. And I don't know about you guys, but my sinuses have just been, ugh. Sinuses are just kind of like, ooh, something's coming. We're almost like human barometers, right? Yeah, I know. I know. Jennifer, Dawn, does anyone know, will this weather affect cell phone towers? It is possible. When you get, now the cell phone towers will do pretty good, but if they lose power, and most of them have a backup generator or some kind of battery backup so that it kicks on, but that can only go so long. But if you start getting, like heavy ice or snow on those towers, then you have another problem. So they can be, they can succumb to the ice and snow just like trees and power lines and everything else. We hope that cell phone service does not go out, but it can. Will it? I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. Bonnie? Oh, Bonnie, you've got a great piece of advice. Leave a faucet or two running in a stream, not dripping, just a small little stream. Just little, thin, little stream. Great advice. Thank you, Bonnie. Because listen, you do not want your water pipes to freeze. I've had it happen before in a home that Sheila and I owned years ago when the girls were growing up. I thought, it's not going to get cold enough for the pipes to freeze. It did. I don't even want to tell you how big of a mess and how much it cost. Oh boy. Bob Newberry, how to find warming stations in Scottsville. I can tell you this, that on News 40, this TV station I work for in the mornings, at WNKY.com, it's either they're posted right now, or I know today they were working on a list of all warming centers in all of our counties in the area. So check there, go to WNKY.com for News 40, or go to the WNKY News app, and you should be able to locate. Look what they're advertising on the Weather Channel. Yeah, generator. That's the kind you have to, and you have to put the gas in. And see, the Generac, you don't have to do that. But that's showing you the conventional. Look at him. He's, how many times is he going to have to, you got to hit the choke, and you got to get it just right, and then it plop, 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 and then smoke comes out of it, and golly, I know if you've got one of those, okay, but man, the more modern generators, boy, that's the way to go. So anyway, go, Bob, go to WNKY.com. You'll be able to find hopefully some of the warming centers. Barbara, I like the way you think. I'm hearing subtle tones of Hank Jr. Country folks can survive. Country folks can survive. Hive. Thank you, Lord. I sounded just like Hank, didn't I? Well, okay, never mind. Dustin. I thought that said Dustin Hoffman at first, but it's Dustin, Rain Man. Dustin Holloway. So less snow and more ice. It depends on where you are. Now, Dustin, I don't know where you're from, but if you live anywhere from across Cumberland Parkway south, Cumberland Parkway, let's say 6880 south, you're more likely to get more ice. If you live north of there, you're more likely to get snow. Where that exact cutoff is going to be is hard to say because this information just keeps changing. Barbara, good thought here. Be kind to the homeless. If you can give food and blankets and what you can, animals too, elderly. If you have a neighbor that you know is by themselves in their 70s, 80s, 90s, who knows, check on them, please. Just make sure they're okay. Tell them to come over. Tell them to come over. And y'all just get together and have some fellowship and good food and stay warm. And don't let them stay by themselves. Golly, that would just be awful. Oh, here's Mark. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mark, almost every night, does this. Stick to the weather. Thank you, Mark. Let's see. What time will it start Saturday? Sometime around 5 a.m. 5 to 7 a.m. All right? So, let's see here. Jen, any change in the forecast? Not yet. We will get some new information this evening and then again in the morning. So you need to watch me in the morning on News 40, or you can watch me on Facebook, on the WNKY Facebook. You can watch me on the WNKY News 40 weather app. And I will tell you in the morning during sunrise at 6 a.m., and then I'm on again at 9, and then I'm on again at noon. And all three of those, I will have fresh updates on if anything has changed in the forecast. Okay? So let's see here. I'm looking for specifics in some of the questions. Yeah, I know a lot of you are asking, well, what's going to happen in my town and all that? It's hard for me to answer every one of these, but we're all going to be hit. Guaranteed hit. Let's see here. Watching, just got on. Just tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. So Jeff and Mary, no milk sandwiches for the rest of the month. And then David, no milk, no bread anywhere in Franklin, Kentucky. Whew. Well, I kind of been warning y'all to go to the store and get ready, even before today. If you kind of waited till today, especially if you're waiting till tomorrow, I don't know if stuff's going to be restocked or not. You just have to go and and see, I guess. Okay. I think that's going to do it. I know it was a lot. I had a little technical issue at the beginning, but I think we got it all in there. Let me just say thank you all for watching. Your support means a lot. I'm going to be busy. I'm planning on doing everything I can this weekend to keep you guys up to date. So is Scott Burchett, and so is Micah Henson. That's our weather team at News 40. And we're committed to doing everything we can to keep you updated on every single platform that we can. And we are branching out, and we're doing more and posting more, and we'll do everything we can to reach you and even the people that don't even know we exist. Yeah, there are people that don't know that Channel 40 even exists. But we're getting the word out there, and we're going to reach them because this is important. This is a big storm. It's serious and potentially dangerous. So we're going to try to reach every person that we can with what's going on. I need your help. I need you to help spread the word. Share some of this stuff so that somebody might see it and go, oh, wow, I didn't realize it was, wow, it's going to be that bad? Yes, it is. In some cases, this could be historic. It really could. Remember when I said that back in February and April when we had the floods? I said, get ready. This is going to be historic. And it was. Not because I said it, but because everything pointed to it could become historic. And this one, this winter storm is pointing in the same direction. This could be historic. God bless you all. I'll see you in the morning on News 40, and then back here tomorrow night, Friday night, to get ready, because by tomorrow night around this time, it's just going to be lurking off to our west and starting to move in for Saturday morning. I'll talk to you later.